All right, we got a Battletech game going on here. Classic Battletech. All right, what we have is a dropship has been hit by aerospace fighters coming into the planet and maintain a sort of a controlled drop right here with a lance that was on board. And they're sitting here holding the area while waiting for the crew to try to fix the thing. But suddenly, rescue forces have been coming from that direction. But intercepting, coming towards the drop site, is a column of armor and mechs of unknown origin. Probably planetary defense forces coming in to investigate or were vectored in by aerospace assets that tried to strafe here, but they got enough damage that they left the area. All right. So here comes the bad guys, and sometime the good guys are going to show up. So until the good guys show up, you got to hold off the coming forces. All right. Any questions?
No.
All right. So it's turn one on the big red die, and we'll be back. Turn one is now complete. The PDF forces march down the road, Mach speed, as fast as they can travel. Over here, it looks like the Westlow Ranger Lance jumped in position over here. Looks like they're heading for the water, maybe, possibly. And it's looking a little hairy for them. It's like they look outnumbered 3-1 right now, even though they're an elite force. But that doesn't stop the bullets. All right, so that's the end of turn one. Forces were just out of range of firing at each other. It's like, looks like next turn may be it, because you're like 2 inches, 2 hexes away from each other, short of LRM fire with the front tanks. All right, so we'll be back with turn two. So turn two, we'll be back. All right, turn two is now complete. The forces moved up around here at the corner and came face to face with the Merc forces over here. And a whole bunch of LRMs went flying over towards this Griffin. We had 4 LRM-20s and 4 LRM-5s, and nothing hit. They needed 12s. They tried. And then the Merc force over here sent a PPC and a large laser and hit tank number 1. Both of them hit, which is amazing. So they shot. But then again, it helps when you got good pilots. Mm-hmm. Good gunnery and specialist skills. Yeah. Specialist PPC and a specialist large laser moved it down enough where they could hit with no problem. All right, so that's the end of turn 2. Moving on to turn 3. And this is now the time where it starts to get interesting. All right, we'll be back. Turn 3. We had the forces moved up over here. And they had some shots go over towards the Wolverine and missed. And then they had some bunch of LRM fire go against the Griffins parked in the water right there. And hit with 1 LRM-20 for 12 points of damage. There was a floating crit chance, but no crit. He was lucky. Could have punched into his right torso, but it didn't do anything. And all these mechs over here fired into tank number 1, and tank 1 took a bunch of damage and lost a small laser. If they would have had one more large laser, instead of hitting the turret, hit the front slope, it would have been a dead tank. It is what it is, right?
What can you do?
Yeah. All right, so that's the end of turn 3. Moving on to turn 4. Over there. Forgot. Those guys over there, they're just tooling along, slowly moving forward. Look, hey, nothing to shoot at here. Hey, boo-boo. All right, so there we go. We'll be back. Turn 4 is complete. All right, over here, the forces moved up, got up to the road junction up here, crossing the river. And these guys all fell back, trying to stay out of range of those AC-20s coming from those Rommel tanks. Not quite, but the gunnery on the tanks isn't quite good enough to get a shot off. It's like they need 13s with those AC-20s. So eventually you're going to be able to not move back as much. But anyway, the Hunter tanks fired their LRMs and the LRM-5s from the Rommels at the Griffin and connected with one LRM-20. So did 12 points of damage again. And then all of them shot at the front tank number 2 and tank number 4, depending on which angle they could see it. They did a lot of damage to it, but it just scattered around the front, the sides, and the turrets on them. So they were still operational with no problem. And then we had an indirect fire from an pair of LRM-15s from the catapult. Actually connected with one of them. And then we also had the Archer and the Orion launched over here and connected on the tank over here that they could see, which is at max range. You're at 20, 21, something like that. Yeah, so it was like almost out of range, but when you got pilots that are running around with 2 gunnery, helps. With sniper, it makes a big difference. And one of them had cluster hitter too, so yeah. The Archer, right? Yeah. Okay. Wasn't he in a trebuchet before?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the one that upgraded to the Archer. Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of turn 4. Moving on to turn 5, and we'll be back. Except one of you, reinforcements. Roll. 7. What'd you get?
11.
11? All right, you get to choose your lance that's coming in as reinforcements. All right, we'll be back. Turn 5. We have over here the forces moved up some across the road, forcing the Mercs to fall back as they're afraid of those big giant pumpkin slugging AC-20s. And they're in range, just they keep needing 13s to hit. But that doesn't mean that the LRMs are not hitting. Over here, we had an LRM-5 and an LRM-20 hit the Griffin for 15 points of damage. Didn't have to worry about a pilot check, but he is taking almost 40 damage, something like that. Yeah, he's taking a lot. Or maybe close to 50 damage. So 12, 12, and 15. That's about 40, I guess. And over here, they did some plinky damage from all these guys shooting at tank too. But then the Archer over here with his cluster hitters smashed in and just put 30 points of damage right into the... did 3 crits and just obliterated that tank. The Archer showed up and says, "Hey, what are you guys worried about? I just take this thing up by myself." And let's see what else we have. They did put some shots towards one of those Hunter tanks, but that was missed. And they're up on the hill over there, and the reinforcements are coming way back there, which are... We have, for reinforcements, a Kentaro, Phoenix Hawk, Enforcer, and a Jenner coming down the pipe. All right, so that's the end of turn 5. Moving into turn 6. All right, turn 6. We'll be back. Turn 6. All right, the forces moved up over here. They crossed the little bit of shallow area here with no problem and moved over here. You can see they were trying to force that crab out of the way, and then the hatchet man comes flying over the here and put a hatchet attack into the Valkyrie, chopped his arm and did some damage, and had a chance critical on his left leg and did 2 crits on the left arm, shoulder, and put the hatchet right through the shoulder and lower actuator. And then the little, did we hit you with the? Yeah, we did hit something. LRM hit the hatchet man, and over here there was some LRM fire, and they almost missed it by that much. The AC-20 went flying by, and he just missed the catapult there. And these guys all fired over here and did a bunch of shots that hit the Wolverine, and over half of the shots, when they go to roll the damage, all hit water because he's in partial cover. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Oh. And let's see what else we have. All right. Then the return fire. These 5 mechs over here opened up on the one hunter tank and tore it to pieces. And let's see, what else do we have? The catapult here fired at that one. Did it. He's like, turret, 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 turret. Kept hitting the turret. And then one shot hit the driver. So that vehicle cannot move. He's now a 6 for the moment while they try to get somebody into the position. So the guy that's running the small turret or the small laser, get into the driver's hatch. All right. So then Valkyrie shot over here with his LRM and a medium laser. There we go. That's where it comes from. Medium laser into the hatchet man. All right. And that's about it. Did I miss anything? We got 2 burning vehicles, and the Griffin and the Wolverine have some damage. They got some good damage done. But you're lucky you were standing in water. All right. We'll be back. All right, turn 7. All right, over here. They unleashed all these vehicles, shot at the Wolverine, and hit with 3 LRM-20s for 40 points of damage, I think it was. But some of it went into the water, unfortunately. But they tore them up a good one. And then they turned around and shot into the... took out one of the hunters, and then did some damage, shot up the Panther right there. And over here, these guys, the Commando, the tank, and the Valkyrie shot at the hatchet man, did plinky damage to it. They turned around and shot the Commando up, took almost all of its armor off, but did nothing internal. And let's see, there's nothing done there. Now, the interesting thing is that the Kentaro shot the tank right there with a bunch of SRMs hits and hit the turret with a chance of critical and blew it to pieces. So, no more Rommel. And let's see, and then I think it was the... Was it the Phoenix Hawk that hit him with the large laser? Yeah. And took the track out. It's like chance of motive hit and rolled boxcars, and basically it's now a pillbox sitting in the road junction right there. And then the between the Archer and the catapult, they smacked down and really tore up the Panther pretty good. It has a bunch of holes in it. And then those 2 guys did more damage to it. So at the moment, that and all these 2 right here, the Cataphract and the Orion, took out that hunter tank right there. That's what happened. All right, so that's the end of turn 7. We're moving on to turn 8. So turn 8, and we'll be back. All right, we had 2 hunters backpedaled back here to get out of the way, to get optimum fire on the Wolverine, and did a little bit of damage to the Wolverine. It rolled really bad when it to actual damage. And over here, the Jenner with its 4 medium lasers opened up and just cored out the, took the leg off. Actually, that's what you did. You shot the leg off the Valkyrie and then put 1 medium laser in with a chance crit? Yeah, he's like a floating crit. You got 2 engine hits, so he's a forced withdrawal and couldn't get out, so he punched out. And over here, the commando backpedaled over here and put some missiles into the crab. Then these 3 amigos here unleashed onto the vehicle and just obliterated it, shot it full of holes, and then they kicked it to death. 2 kicks and went right to the chassis and ended its day. All right, here, the Panther tried to shoot the back of the Griffin, who was shooting the back of the catapult. Catapult took a couple shots into it, minor damage, and then over here, he did nothing. And then the Wolverine came over here and smoked 1 vehicle. And all right, these 4 right here shot 1 vehicle. And then they just obliterated that poor Panther. And then also that crab right there shot it too. So between all these mechs, they just obliterated that Panther. It was gone. And as a result of all the losses, all that was left is a shot up. There's no armor left on that commando. It's like you hit it with an SRM and it's like done. It's got flashing red everywhere. And there's minor damage to the catapult. And then you had these right here. They decided to surrender. Called it right there. That was the end of the battle. So after 7 turns, it went south quickly. In 1 turn, everything just up and disappeared. It didn't help that, like 1 tank right here, a fresh tank just suddenly disappeared with a ammo explosion. And the same pretty much with that one right there too. It's like, what can you do when you get that floating crit and it just, boom, gone, detonate. All right, so that's it. That's the end of the game. So we'll be calculating XP and go from there. All right. See you again. Elcrix out.